Trying to grab all the groceries in one trip? Oof, not how you would have done that. You know sometimes less is more. Like when you drive less and save with the USAA annual mileage discount. USAA. Get a quote today.
You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Text rather ominously says, wait until the Crusaders get half of their frontline players back. I saw Razor and Scott Barrett after the game the other night, and the question was asked to them in the post-match, was this the best 23 you could put out? Razor said, it's the only 23. These are the only players we've got. James McOnie's here. G'day, mate.
G'day, Piney. How are you? Yeah, a lot of interesting turn-ups on the rugby front.
Interesting turn-ups indeed. Are you willing to accept that your Chiefs are Super Rugby favourites?
No, I'm not. Did you see the second half, Piney?
I did.
Pretty much on defence for the entire second half. So, a couple of things go the way of the Blues, the accidental offside, all those moments that you just think if they put the, turn the screws. I think teams do need better moves closer to the try line. And it's one thing that you sort of notice about rugby currently. It's like they seem to be able to make line breaks galore further downfield, but against the try line, it's just battering rams the whole time, right?
Yeah. But in many ways, that says a lot about the Chiefs as well. As you say, they spent most of the second half defending their own line inside their own 22 for large parts of it, but were able to repel a pretty good team. So, I don't want to jinx this Chiefs side. I hope they win. If the Hurricanes can't win Super Rugby, I hope the Chiefs do. But I thought they were good. Just on Beauden Barrett, he obviously had a high profile not putting the ball down moment last night. What are you making of Beauden Barrett in 2023?
I think he's poised to do something great. Beauden Barrett, to me, I'm sort of swimming against the tide here because I know that he didn't have the greatest game last night. But for me, Beauden Barrett's the most talented rugby player of this generation, and I think there are sort of 5 rugby players I feel need to get picked no matter what, and when the All Blacks are named, and he's one of them. I'll probably throw Rieko Ioane in there, Brodie Retallick. There's I've got a lot of love for Samasoni now and Ardie Savia. Just those 5 that you just can't do without. And sometimes they do have to play out of their preferred position, like Ardie does. So Beauden now has that sort of shootout really between himself, Damien McKenzie, Richie Mo'unga for the 10. But at the same time, he's probably still our best fullback. So there are plenty of options for him. I just feel like sometimes you've got to come back from a, not necessarily rock bottom, but a game that didn't go your way, or a Stephen Donald in Hong Kong.
Indeed, we know what the final chapter of that story was. Warriors play the Sharks just after 6 tonight. The TAB on this side of the Tasman has the Sharks $1.24, the Warriors $3.90. I mean, gamble responsibly, but I'm getting on that.
Yeah, I'm getting on that too, actually. Yeah, gamble responsibly, people. But the Warriors are the real deal under Webster. I mean, everybody's just finding out how good he is. They probably have room to, a higher ceiling or more room to improve, because there are players who have underperformed in earlier, previous years, ones who are just coming of age. But seeing what he's done with Sean Johnson, I'm sold. I think having the nucleus of that forward pack, I think, people like Aden Fanua-Blake are crucial. When we lost them last year, that hurt. But I think we're in the upper echelon. I worry about the lower echelon, Piney, like teams like the West Tigers.
Yeah.
No wins so far. I mean, it's not great.
No. They've been pretty poor, haven't they? And speaking of odds, I see Centrebet or Sportsbet on the other side of the Tasman has them 326 to 1 to win the NRL. So yeah, I think we could probably write them off.
Well, this is the issue. I actually, the West Tigers lost a couple of games narrowly, like against I think Melbourne Storm. They put up a fight, but last night when you go and play a rejuvenated Brisbane side with what pretty much is the half the Queensland side, state of origin side, you do have to wonder about salary cap, have the salary sombreros of some of the clubs. But there's the issue with the West Tigers is they've just become this feeder club over the years, and it hurts a bit because we've all got memories of Gary Freeman playing for Balmain and all that sort of stuff. They were a great team there for a while. And Isaiah Papali'i went across as a big signing, and now he's finding what it's like to play for one of those clubs. I just think that, maybe the NRL need to think about bonus points for getting close, because having a team that just constantly loses and gets nothing for a good effort, I think is just too demoralising.
Indeed. And just on the Phoenix, I found myself, I was quite annoyed by the men last night, I must say. A 1-0 lead over the bottom side, and they somehow conspire to lose it 2-1. The Phoenix, when a top 4 spot is sitting there for the taking. I don't know what you thought.
Yeah, I felt exactly the same way. I think that they're suffering from a football hangover. So half of them were with the All Whites in camp to play China. And then their best player, Oscar Zavada, the Polish striker, had a week or two off for the arrival of his first baby, Leo. Very cute, and it's exciting. And then when he comes back, they expect him to do what he does, and he delivered, right? But what happened to the rest of them? And it was like playing with an actual hangover, where the first half always is okay, and you're thinking, this isn't too bad. Maybe I should drink every night before I play. And then the second half, the wheels come off. I'm speaking from experience here, Piney.
Yeah, look, I can do the same. I can absolutely do the same. And just a quick word before you go on the women. They've finished their season now. They have finished bottom, but I thought they improved markedly from last year and played some pretty good football at times.
Yeah, totally agree with you, Piney. I mean, you've probably watched most of the games like I have, and I'd say this would be probably one of the most honourable wooden spoons that you'll ever see in the history of sport. They've beaten the top of the table Sydney club. Yesterday they drew with Melbourne Victory, who are legit, and they could actually go on and win the entire competition. And so I think they've shown really promising signs, and you can tell it's a bit like they're just working things out. It's a mainland cheese thing. It's a VO2 shampoo. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen.
Good things take time, James. Thanks, mate. Always enjoy our chats. James McOnie, part of our Sundays here on ZB.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.